Hello and welcome back to Professional Tutors. So at Professional Tutors, we've got a unique team of heads of department who came together to deliver quality education to our learners in the UK and across the world. In today's lesson, we're going to look at prime factor decomposition. So our learning objective for today is to find the prime factors of a number. For those who don't know what prime numbers are, a prime number has only two factors, the number itself and 1. For example, if you look at number 12, it has got quite a few factors. 2 goes into 12, so 2 is a factor. 3 goes into 12, so 3 is also a factor. 4 goes into 12, so 4 is also a factor. And 6 goes into 12, so 6 is also a factor of 12. So for number 12, the factors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So it's got quite a few factors, so it is not a prime number. If you look at number 13, it's got exactly 2 factors, number 1 and 13 itself. And same is the case with 23. It's got exactly 2 factors, 1 and the number itself, which is 23. Now let's have a look at what is prime factor decomposition. So decompose means to break down. So prime factor decomposition is when you break down a number into its prime factors, and that's a guaranteed exam question. The way they're going to ask you this question in the exam, let's have a look at the example here. They're going to ask you, express 30 as a product, that's a keyword, product, of prime numbers. Now, there are a few ways you can do this question, but a most popular, a most easier way is to draw a factor tree. Let's have a look how we can draw a factor tree diagram of 30. So write the number first and see if you can half it first, because 2 is the first or the smallest prime number. So let's see if 2 goes into 30. So what times 2 is 30? So we got here 2 times 15 is 30. Now 2 is a prime number, so you can't break it down further. Let's have a look at 15 and see if you can divide 15 by 2 or not. Now you can't divide 15 by 2 because that's an odd number. So let's try dividing it by the next prime number, which is 3. So 3 times 5 is 15. Now 3 is a prime number and 5 is a prime number, so you cannot break them down further. So we are nearly there. So shown you're working out. The next part is how you write the answer in exam. Because they said, if you go back to the question, they said express 30 as a product. That's a keyword, product of primes or prime numbers. The way you're going to write the answer in exam is this. So 30 equals 2 times 3 times 5. And that is what the question is asking. Product. Product means times. So this is how you express 30 as a product of prime numbers. Let's have a look at another example. This time the number is 40 and the question is express 40 as a product of primes or prime numbers. Same thing again, write the number and see if you can divide 40 by the first prime number, which is 2. So what times 2 is 40? So 2 times 20 is 40. Now 2 is a prime number. You cannot break it down further, but you can break down 20. So let's see if you can divide 20 by 2 again. So what times 2 is 20? So 2 times 10 is 20. Now 2 is a prime number. You cannot break it down further. Let's break it down 10. So try again dividing 10 by 2. So that's going to be 2 times 5. Now you cannot go further because all of these are 5 here. They're all prime numbers, and you cannot decompose a prime number further. You're nearly there. The next part is just write the answer. So the way you're going to write the answer in the exam, don't forget you have to write the answer as a product of prime numbers. If you leave the answer here, you will possibly lose 1 mark. So you have to write the final answer as a product of prime numbers. Sometimes, to challenge you, they will say how else could we write 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Sometimes in exam, they ask you to write the answer using index notation. So if we have to write this using an index notation, so we can write 2 times 2 times 2 as 2 cubed. So that's 2 cubed times 5, and that is going to be the final answer. So make sure you read the question properly in exam. Whether the question is saying or asking to leave the answer simply as a product of prime numbers, or they're saying use the answer or write the answer using the index notation. So be careful there. Make sure, always make sure that you read the question twice. Let's have a look at another example. We're going to use the same rule again. Let's divide 126 by 2 first, because 2 is the first prime number. Simply half it. So 2 times 63 is 126. Now see if you can divide 63 by 2 again. Now you can't do that because 63 is an odd number. So let's try 3, which is the next prime number, and see if we can divide 63 by 3. So that's going to be 3 times 21. Now you cannot break it down further because that is a prime number. Let's try breaking 21 down further. Again, you cannot divide that by 2 because that is an odd number. So let's try dividing 21 by 3. So 3 times 7. Now you cannot break down 7 further because 7 is a prime number. So we're nearly there. So next step is just to write the answer. So the way you're going to write the answer, so again, what the question is asking, express 126 as a product of prime numbers. So your answer is going to be 2 times 3 times 3 times 7. And if they ask you to write the answer using the index notation, that's going to be 2 and then 3 squared times 7. Let's try a few more examples. Here it's got 42. Same rule again. Try dividing the number by 2 first. then 3, then 5, and then 7. So normally in exam, it's normally the product of 2s or 3s or 5s or 7s. That is what they normally ask in exam. So that's simple, quite straightforward. Right, next example is 180. We'll express 180 as a product of prime numbers. We're going to use the same rule again. Try with 2 first. Try with 2 again. Try with 2 again. If not, try with 3. And 3 again. And that is how you'll write the answer as a product of prime numbers. And if they ask, write your answer using index notation, that's the way you're going to write the answers. That's going to be 2 squared, and that is going to be 3 squared times by 5. Now here are some questions for you to practice. You can pause the video, do them, and when you're done, we're going to mark them together. Right, just have a look at the answers. Let's mark them together. So 60 is going to be 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Give yourself a tick or a cross. If your answer is right, give yourself a tick. If your answer is wrong, give yourself a cross. Or you can also use a happy face or a sad face. 45 is going to be 3 times 5 times 3. For 84, that's going to be 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. And these are the answers for 150, 255, and 96. Next question here is fill in the gaps in the product of primes below, so without using a factor tree. So let's mark them together. That's going to be number 2 here. That's going to be number 7 here. And that's the challenging one, because we have to write the answer using the index notation. See if you get this right. Let's have a look. So that's going to be 3 squared. So again, mark them, give yourself a tick or a cross. When you got a tick, you can give yourself a sticker or a smiley face. If it's wrong, no worries, we can try the question again. These ones here, these are exactly the same as these, but this time we're going to try drawing a factor tree diagram. So let's use the same rule again. There are different ways of doing this. Instead of going 2 and 10, once you know what to do, you can play the things around the way you want. So there are different ways you can do the question. The most important thing is to get these numbers right at the end. You don't always need to start with 2s and 3s. You can start with bigger numbers and you'll get the same answer. But to make the things easier, I would suggest, if you're not expert on this, or if you're not fully confident on these, use the rule what we've discussed previously. Start with the lowest prime number first, which is 2. Try divide 150 by 2 and on and on and on. But eventually, either way, you'll get the same answer. So that is how you draw the prime factor decomposition tree, or just a prime factor tree. Now you are confident in this topic. Now it's time for you to become a teacher. Are we ready, guys? That's the homework done by one of the students. What you have to do now is to mark Famida's homework and spot any mistakes. Once you got those mistakes, if you can explain your answer using your own words and explain where Famida went wrong. That's all for today. Please share, subscribe, and like, and stay connected for our upcoming videos.